Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Foresight TV. I am actually really pumped up about this week. I think that reviews, which is what we're going to be talking about, and we're all about reviews, is probably the one single area where you can really change the paradigm for your occupancy. And I am continuously shocked at how badly is maybe the wrong word, how neglectful so many communities are. I was looking at one this morning. Actually, I looked at a few this morning getting ready for this show, and I saw some terrible things that were unresponded to. And so that's part of what we're going to talk about. But we're going to get into the conversation in just a minute. Hey guys, Steve Moran here. So, Denise, Nick, Erin, welcome. I'm going to have each of you introduce yourself. We'll start with you, Denise.
I'm Denis Graab. I'm director of Caring.com's reviews program. I'm one of the original experts that helped create and launch the program. And I am the co-creator and manager of the Caring Stars Award program based on consumer reviews.
And I love the Caring Stars program. I am always baffled every year when we talk about it is that more people are not there, and because it means they're not working at it, which is why this talk is so important. And Erin, you're next. And while you're talking, I got to put up this comment that just came in from somebody.
Sure. So my name is Erin Kessler, and I actually work for a company that takes care of 3 different brands. So Independence Village Senior Living, Story Point Senior Living, and also Leisure Living Management as well. And I work doing insights and reputation management and a bunch of cool stuff.
And you might be the best in the whole industry at managing reviews, and that's why you're here today. And so I'm just honored and excited to be able to learn from you.
Yeah,
Nick?
Routine compliment, but I'll accept.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, Nick with Savant, founder and CEO. We're an experience management company that does live phone surveys. So we deliver actionable feedback to improve quality of care resident experience. And also in the process of building a reputation management product to respond to reviews, analyze reviews, and collaborate as a team to make sure that you have the best reputation online possible.
Terrific. Guys, I'm so glad to be able to talk about this. The first thing I want to do is I want to actually spend about 10 minutes talking about sort of the basics of the review process. As we sort of planned for this in advance, there was some sense of, well, maybe we don't need to talk about it, but we're going to spend the bulk of the time talking about what to do when you get bad reviews. And I'm going to tease by just a little bit about when I see a lot of bad reviews that get responded to. I see a lot that don't get responded to. I see a lot that do get responded to. And mostly when I see them responded to, it's the same old thing. We're sorry, call us, or we're sorry, we'll do better next time. And they just ring hollow, and it actually makes them look worse. But let's start off first. Why are reviews important? Denise?
All right. Well, we like to talk about reviews in the context of the modern drive-by. So nowadays, people are going online rather than driving by the community. Those online reviews are helping them decide which communities they're going to walk into for that tour and helping them narrow their choices for, even after they've taken the tours, which one they're going to select for their loved one based on how other residents and family members of those residents have experienced that community services and given feedback in online reviews. So it's hugely important. We're seeing it also make a huge difference in driving inquiries, tours, and move-ins. So it's influencing the behavior of the senior living searcher. Dramatic boosts in those numbers for those communities that have 16 plus reviews. We've done the studies on this since 2016. Every single study, and we don't isolate for positive reviews, every single study has shown us a significant boost. Now, the exact numbers vary. 5x more move-ins for the communities with 16 plus reviews versus those with only 1 to 2 was the latest study I did. But we've also seen 7 to 10x for specific portfolios in our partner network. It has always made a big difference regardless of what the specific number is. Thank you, Olivia, for sharing that exact stat for us.
Yeah. No, that's a huge number that everybody ought to pay attention to. So I want to actually dig a little, sort of go into this. 16 is a lot of reviews. So what do so Erin, do you guys 16? Are you able to do that?
I think a lot of our communities have above 16. We also are an organization that's had the fortune to be able to acquire communities as well. So that kind of allows us to have opportunities to kind of make an impression on them about how important reviews are and how they play into us serving as many seniors as possible.
Terrific. And Nick, you want to just talk a little bit about what you see in terms of the importance of reviews?
Well, as a survey company, the number one thing that we see as far as low scores is effective communication. So if you're thinking about responding to reviews, you're responding to an issue. And if that issue is not addressed, you're basically saying, we don't care. Your problem is your problem, deal with it. And it's just not very conducive to this industry, it's so heavily involved in people's lifestyles. And you have the family members watching 24/7. And if anything is off, it loses trust. And that's a big problem.
Yep. So how do you go about getting 16 reviews?
There's
Erin,
a variety.
Erin, let me ask you first. What do you do if you don't have enough, you take over a new building, you don't have enough reviews, what do you do?
Sure. So one of the things that I think sets us apart from others in the industry is that we're obsessed with the resident experience. It's all about, making sure that we're providing opportunities for them to give us feedback however they're comfortable. So that could be in person in a conversation. Obviously, it could be sending an email, or it could be leaving a public facing review. We just try to become obsessed with how our residents get to experience life in our communities because it's their home, and any opportunity we have to basically make it better or even exceed expectations, we find those insights in reviews. So to Denise's point, a lot of opportunities come out of these reviews. So even when you have some negative feedback in a review, it's just telling you about a problem that you can solve. It's how we have this buildable trust in senior living, and it's made us really successful at fostering really good relationships with those we serve and prospective residents as well.
So do you just go ask people to get reviews, or?
Honestly, we have an environment where I feel they know that we want feedback, we crave feedback. So it kind of just comes naturally. But again, part of it is knowing that we have the best relationships with not only our residents, but also their families, and kind of capitalizing on that relationship in an effort to, basically give a window into our community lifestyle, which helps anybody who's searching.
Cool. So Denise, I want to pick on you for just a little bit here. When you're talking to your communities that are working with you and they come to you and say, we're not getting enough reviews, what do you tell them to do?
Well, first off, I empower them with the dedicated link for their community that they can send out to their residents, cognitively healthy residents, and residents' family members. We give them some tips on what to do to get those reviews. We also built a generator tool for our partners that we tested language that's most effective for generating reviews from consumers in this industry. So we pre-built outreach emails that they can add their own signature, their own subject line, a link to their submission form, make it as easy as possible. You want to drive that consumer directly to the place where they enter their review. You don't just want to say, go review us on Google, go review us on Caring. Make it as easy as possible. Erin pointed out something I always recommend in my webinars, and that is build a culture that's open to feedback, and I would add actively soliciting it. The other thing Nick talked about, they're doing phone-based surveys. We also collect reviews by phone for our partner community. So anyone we refer to a community, we're actively reaching out to them by phone and email to collect a review about every community they toured, any community they moved into. That is part of a service that Caring provides its partners free of charge. So you have to, it's great that Erin has a culture of accepting feedback. That's wonderful. That's why she has such an awesome reviews profile on our site. I can't speak for the other sites, but awesome reviews profile on our site. She was one of the top 5 in Caring Stars this year. So she's doing it right. And I remember when I first met Erin close to 6 years ago, she came to me and said, we're having this challenge. I know reviews are important from a prior industry I worked in. We're having this challenge. What can I do? So we've been working with her, and look where we are today. It's just phenomenal.
That is really, really cool. So I got to talk about this phone thing for a minute. So let's say I go to one of my residents and they say, "Oh man, I just love this place. You guys have," and maybe even tell me a story. And I say, "Well, would you mind leaving a review?" And they said, "I can't use a cell phone. Can I say, well, here's the number for Caring, and if you just tell them your story by phone, we'll turn it into a review?"
Correct.
Ooh, that's cool. That is pretty cool. So one more question before we get into the what to do about bad reviews. Is there frequent, does it matter whether it's like once I get 16, can I just leave it and not worry about it? Or how often do I need to monitor it? How recent do I need to have reviews?
If you don't mind, I'd like to take that first because I had a senior call me this week. And he was calling me about a community in California that had 31 reviews over time, but he was very upset because the last review was October 2021. And he was asking me for more recent consumer feedback about that community. So I explained to him the reviews program and how it works. And then I outreach to the community and let them know people are clamoring for feedback about your community. You need to focus on getting at least 1 per quarter minimum. If you can get more, it's even better. Think about it. If you have 100 residents, even if you have only 50 residents, you can add, and you only get 10% and their family members, you're going to get to that 16 pretty quickly and be able to, we know there's turnover with residents and occupancy. So you'll have an opportunity to get new reviews, at least 1 a quarter. You have to have, it didn't used to be as important, the currency. It's become more important since the pandemic.
Cool. And then how often do you need, Erin, how often, you do this full time, so how often do you monitor your reviews?
So every day, every single day in the morning, that's how me and my team. So I work actually with another girl named Erin, and we go over any review and that has any negative commentary, not just like a certain star, but like even if there's a 5-star review, but it has 1 sentence, we won't contest it, but we will say, hey, that looks like an opportunity. Let's give this person a response. Let's make them feel heard. Let's also put into action whatever needs to happen to, resolve any concerns.
That's the part I love, is that you can use these reviews as an opportunity to get mad. I was talking to an operator about reviews and they said, "Oh, it's just angry people and they don't mean anything." And it kind of broke my heart because I will tell you, I love compliments when we hear from readers, but I actually love the people who have a complaint or a comment because it gives us a chance to get better. I love that. So Denise, every day is pretty aggressive. Maybe I can't do every day. You have thoughts on that? Or do you think everybody should be doing it every day?
I think Erin is a superstar. I'm a huge fan of Erin's approach. She's at the top tier. If you can emulate Erin, fantastic. If you can't, you should use a service like Nick's or become a partner of Caring where we alert the partner whenever they get a new review so they don't have to monitor. I'm sure, Nick, do you have a similar service where you're notifying your users? Yeah.
Immediate alerts, yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, one thing I'll add to the importance of responding, Bright Local, they do local review studies, and one of their main topics is, 57% say they would not very or not likely use a business that does not respond to reviews. So that's just how important it is to respond to the reviews that people provide for you.
Yeah.
That's a big number.
Correct.
Okay, we're going to dig in now. What happens? I think that, people hate bad reviews, reasonably hate bad reviews, right? So I want to talk about what to do about bad reviews. But Denise has this great story that I want to start with about how to not do it. You're on, Denise.
So recently I took a call from a panicked senior. She had been contacted by a service provider about an anonymous review on their caring.com listing. And mind you, it was a 3-star review, which is middle of the scale. It wasn't even a 1-star and 2-star. They had accused her of posting that anonymous review, demanding that she take it down. And she hadn't recalled posting that review. And she wondered, did somebody use her identity and post a review? I researched the case and reassured her that no, you had not posted that review, and I will follow up with the provider. And I did. So that's how not to do it. How do you think that consumer is going to now review that business if she even continues to use them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what's crazy about that story to me is that she really had obviously no feeling about that building before, and because of what they did, instead of having 2 people who are not very, so now you have one person out there who they don't know who's a 3-star kind of person, and then another person who had no particular negative feeling who now has super negative feelings. So not the right way. So where are we going to start, Erin? You guys get a lot of negative reviews. No, you probably don't get a lot of negative reviews actually because of what you do. What do you do when you do get a negative review?
Well, just to give you a stat that Denise gave me, we only get 2% negative reviews, which would be 3 stars or lower. But when these do come in, and again, we attack any review that, whether it's 5 stars or 1 star, that has negative feedback. We have basically worked with our operations team if it's a consumer review, and then HR if it is a employee review, because we handle both. And we basically like to get as much information about what led up to this review and what, as much information literally about what happened to get us here. And then we feel we can basically formulate a response that not only can tell them, I heard you and we're here and we're going to try to solve this with you, but also, it's about the person who's also looking for their loved one, and they're nervous, and this is a scary process. And they say, oh, it looks like they got back to them right away. We aim to get back to have a response posted to a review within 48 to 72 hours. We try to do it faster if we can. And it's so important because these problems, they're really things that we have to jump on right away. And sometimes people don't feel comfortable coming to the leader or to someone directly, and this is their outlet. So for us, it's about getting with our team, getting all the facts, and then always listing a contact person, the right contact person, to help resolve the issue in the response. So they have somebody to reach out to, assuming they didn't just want to vent, but they actually want a solution. So that's how we've always handled it. And it's worked really well because, again, it gives us opportunities to build trust, more trust with the families that we serve. I have an example review if you wanted me to share it.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we obviously, this happens a lot, but I have a couple examples. I'll just give one. But we got a review for one of our Independence Village communities that said, need more communication with nurses, don't return calls. Memory care front desk is nice and helpful. So what that helped us to find out was that our voicemail to memory care wasn't functioning properly. So this family, was basically letting us know of a problem, which we can't solve if we don't know about. And so our response allowed us to figure that out, get them in contact with our executive director, and basically solve that issue so that it didn't happen again. Things like this happen a lot. And I think, again, if we're empathetic and we put ourselves in the reviewer's shoes, then we know that they're just looking out for either their loved one or themselves. So that's how we see it.
And so how did you respond to that?
We were very curious. You have to be relentlessly curious. And so honestly, it's more, I don't actually have my response written down for it, but basically we would lead with, hey, this is very concerning and we want to solve it immediately. We want you to be able to contact nurses, especially regarding something that's very, urgent. And so we would just provide them with the phone number for usually the cell phone. We'd like to make it easy for them to contact our leaders, whether it's business hours or not, because again, these are very urgent matters. So then we just list that person and they were able to get a hold of our ED right away and get that resolved. And again, that builds trust. I know I wrote down that our executive director said, I feel like we really recovered from that one by connecting with this family member directly. So it worked out really well for us.
So one of the things when we were prepping for this that you talked about, you actually kind of pushed back on me about, and I was talking about, I sort of said the goal is to get great reviews. And you immediately said, no. So what's the right goal here?
So it's about building relationships where somebody would want to put their reputation at large by kind of promoting your business. We feel that when we build trust through reviews, that occupancy follows, that this is something that it works kind of in coordination with each other. So that's really, was that what I said?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. I think what I talked about when we were prepping was that good reviews leads to higher occupancy. And you said occupancy is not really the goal, that trust is the goal.
Right. Mm-hmm. And the relationship too, just making sure that also we should be open and wanting feedback. Another review we got that I wrote down was they made a suggestion about hey, the ambiance in the dining room is kind of dull. It feels more like a cafeteria than like a gathering community space. Seems like it could be easily fixed by facilitating an activity or playing some music. So it was awesome because we invested in new speakers. And so then it's not only does this family feel heard, they also feel like they're a part of the community and a part of the experience, and that we listen and we want them to be involved in the decisions we make.
Yeah. So one of the sort of underlying things that I hear from you, Erin, and this is for Nick, question really for Nick, is that one of the things I hear is that perhaps one of the biggest challenges that operators have is that there are frustrations, challenges, things that could be better, and you don't even know about that. So Nick, what do you do about finding this stuff that is, that's below the surface? Erin talks about people being afraid to go to the executive director, or, they're afraid of retaliation. So how do you work on that?
Well, not many people know this, but I actually owned a small placement company in Atlanta from 2015 to 2020. And we actually fielded a lot of issues from families because they are scared of going to the ED or to anybody at the property because they're afraid of mom or dad not getting the care that they need. Mm-hmm. So you really do need a third-party unbiased survey solution that could collect that feedback and deliver it anonymously if possible.
So as you do surveys with families and team members, can you then actually take obviously the positive stuff, probably not the negative stuff, and use that to turn that into reviews?
Yeah, so we have some tools where we can share the review content to Facebook, to their site, to a reviews widget, and some other things that Denise and I can chat about maybe in a few minutes.
Cool. So Denise, what other thoughts do you have about negative reviews?
I would say avoid taking it personally. I know that these communities and their staff care a lot about the work that they're doing. I appreciate that. But sometimes the people that you serve don't appreciate it as much as they should and may give you some unfair comments. Take it with a grain of salt and take the attitude that Erin has. This is an opportunity to make our community even better and to make that resident or family member feel that they're part of that team, making it a great place to live, right? They're they have a seat at the table in driving the success of that community. I just love their attitude in approaching reviews in that way. Avoid disparaging reviewers. It breaks my heart when I see emails sent to Karen contesting a review because of X, Y, or Z about that consumer. It had nothing to do with the review content. It was reviewer bashing, if you will. So avoid that. Just put that aside. You go vent that outside at home. Don't take that online in your response to a review. It's going to make a bigger impact on your prospective residents than the negative review did. How you respond can be much more influential than the review.
I agree. And also, just to add, these are our family too. You know, our employees build deep relationships with these people. So if we just make it about the other person, we just make it about resident experience, then there's nothing else can cloud our judgment, and we can work with agency, work quickly, and resolve any concerns and basically exceed expectations with families.
So one of the things I hear from operators a lot is that they get more upset. We mostly talked about resident family reviews, but what I hear is that they're disgruntled employees, either current or prior, and they're just bitter, and that's why you can't trust reviews. What do you do when an ex-employee in particular comes in and just bashes you?
Well, I feel like I can answer that one. So honestly, again, it comes back to the empathy. You put yourself in the shoes of the person, but you also have to understand from the on-site team, you know, what was happening that got us to that point. And then also, you know, we are available. Our HR team, we have a dedicated HR team at our home office. They're available to talk. They are there to advocate for employees, even if they don't work with us anymore. We're not kidding when we say we want feedback, whether it's good or bad, because it's giving us an opportunity to grow and get better. We have something we talk about here at our home office a lot, but the constant pursuit of better, just always kind of chasing the opportunity to create better employee environments, but also a better home for our residents.
That is.
And I would, sorry, go ahead, Steve.
No, go ahead, Denise. Yeah.
I was just going to say, with Caring, unlike some of the other major platforms, we're screening the reviews before they get published, and we don't allow employee reviews. Some of the other sites like Google also don't allow employee reviews, but they're not screening. Somebody has to come along and flag it. So the disgruntled employee is unlikely to get through our program and publish on Caring. They can go to Glassdoor. Indeed, we do redirect them. So Erin's approach is excellent for the employee sites.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because an employee review really doesn't adequately reflect a community for sure. And yet I would also add to that, and it sounds like, Erin, this is really your philosophy, is that if you've got I get it. Sometimes they're disgruntled employees. There's some people who are just bad, and you've got to acknowledge that sometimes the complaints are stupid, right? But oftentimes there are lessons to be learned from those employee complaints.
Oh, I actually wrote that down. I think reviews are very much a predictor of community health, and I think when you keep an eye on them and how they trend, they tell a story. And usually it will predict what will happen. So that plays into our philosophy as well.
Yeah. I don't know that I've ever met anybody who has embraced. Is this fair to say? Somebody who's embraced negative reviews as much as you do, Erin, and you do as an organization. And it's such a healthy philosophy that I would argue that once you embrace negative reviews, it's probably the best way to make negative reviews go away, or at least be minimized. So,
absolutely.
So I want to, we've got a big announcement we want to do here, but before we do that, I want to just kind of go around with each of the three of you. We're about out of time, and see if you have any sort of last words. I'm going to start, Denise, with you.
All right. So what we've covered is that it's extremely important to monitor your online reputation nowadays. Don't forget the modern drive-by. Have a great collection of online reviews and respond as best you can. Particularly be careful, strategic, and savvy about how you approach those negative reviews.
And don't use the same review, cut and paste review for everyone.
Please
That's
don't.
the thing. That's just, oh man, I see that so often. Erin?
I was actually going to say something similar. So I like that we've prioritized keeping the human aspect as a part of how we tackle these, because that way I think at least the reviewer knows that thought went into it and that there was a discussion and that, you know what I mean, that it was very relevant to their unfortunate experience, whatever it might be. So for us, it's about keeping that that authenticity with the family when we're doing this kind of public facing responses.
Actually, I had one more question for you, and I'm interrupting my own flow, but so I know you post phone numbers. What percentage of time do people actually call?
It's very low. Because we try to put the most relevant person listed as the contact person, I would have to get with a ton of different people to know for sure. But I will tell you that we get with employee reviews, I think we list our head of HR for everyone, unless there's a reason that we should list somebody else. And she's had like two calls or something. Yeah. So most people just want to vent when it comes from the employee side. With consumers, I believe that there are more calls that happen because they truly want a solution. So
cool. And Nick, last words, and then we'll get to the.
I would just say that in order to get the great reviews that all providers want, you have to first provide a great experience. You have to constantly ask how we're doing, and then you have to respond and take action on it. So that's not only frontline in the community, but it's also like we're talking about today. You have to respond to those online reviews and show that you care and actually take action on it.
Yep. Cool. Okay, so what's the big announcement? Who's doing it? Denise, Nick?
I'll start and then Nick can add if you don't mind, Nick.
Yep.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So we're so thrilled to announce that we are entering into a partnership with Savant to help senior living communities and skilled nursing facilities monitor and respond to their reviews. But also we're going to be working with Nick's team to showcase caring reviews in their reviews widget so they can use it for the marketing on the community websites. We're very excited about that.
That is
probably the best summation I could provide. One additional tool that we'll have within this integration is the ability to mention other frontline staff, regionals, corporate office, so that you're all involved in that review. So you all understand what's going on, what actions are taken. So there's an application of a record for what's going on with that one review.
Oh man, I got to tell you, I love the idea of using positive reviews and naming team members as a way to just say we love you and you're important to everything we do. I can't believe I've never even thought about that before. That is a brilliant idea. So we are out of time, a little past time. Erin, Nick, Denise, thank you very much. Have a great week. I have a challenge for you this next week. Those of you who are watching, go make it a goal to go get one review for each of your communities this coming week, and to go respond to, if maybe you don't have any negative reviews, although I don't trust places that have no negative reviews, but go look for one of those negative reviews and just figure out how to learn from it, how to respond from it in a way that just elevates everything that you do, because this is all about people. It's all about the residents. It's all about the residents' family, and it's all about the team members. Thank you very much for what you do. Thank you for the three of you for making the industry a better place.